Well, welcome folks. I haven't done one of these sort of videos for a while, but as it turns out, I've got a broken, or at least a damaged key on my Casio PX-S6000 keyboard here. It's the B flat key here. Now it still works, but it's actually loose and it keeps getting jammed actually. It'll get jammed and I won't be able to push it down and I have to move it around and then it comes right. But it still rattles. So it's obviously something's happened there with the mechanism, and I don't know why it's all of a sudden occurred. It might be because I've put something on top of the keyboard when I've had it stored in the car or something. I might have thrown something on top even when it was in its case. Maybe it just landed on that key and somehow dislodged it. I'm not sure. But now I've got the fun job of actually trying to pull this apart and seeing if I can repair it. And I haven't ever done that with one of these keyboards, so it's going to be a bit of a wait and see what happens situation. So I guess the first thing to do, turn it over and just see if we can look at getting all these screws out and hopefully getting this keyboard apart. All right, so there's a little bit of weight in this keyboard, but it's pretty compact and pretty portable. Right, so as far as I can tell, it's all these silver screws here that are going to have to come out. Now, at the moment, I've only got a few basic tools with me, so I'm going to just rely on a basic toolkit to see if I can do this. So I'm going to remove these all by hand, so I'll do that now. I'll stop the video, actually. I'll remove all these screws, and then we'll see about getting this keyboard apart and see what we can find out. Okay, well, I've taken out all the screws. Didn't take too long, actually, but there were 64 in total. And about 3 different types. I've put them all... I've kept them all in separate containers, but there's about 3 different types of screws. And I actually took out these ones here. There's some screws holding these brackets in, and I'm assuming that's for the stand for the keyboard or something like that. I'm not too sure actually. Anyway, I've taken those out as well just in case. So all the screws are out. Including the other one, just to be aware of, is there's one screw here which sits under the battery cover. So just make sure you take the battery cover off and there's a single screw underneath. And another good trick, of course, is making sure that you use a magnetized screwdriver, because when you're trying to get the screws that are in the recessed holes here, it makes it a lot easier if you can just lift them out with the magnetized head on the screwdriver there. Okay, so all the screws are out now. We've got the fun part of trying to get this apart. And as I say, I haven't done this before, so this is the first time. So we'll see how it all goes. And hopefully we can turn it over and just lift the top lid off. It actually feels a bit loose, so I'm assuming it'll just lift off. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be reasonably straightforward. Yeah, okay, now that's just popped off, so that wasn't too hard. So I guess I've just got to be careful because we've got these ribbon cables here, and otherwise just connecting the main board to the actual keyboard. So I just have to be a little bit careful there. I think I can probably just leave those connected at this stage. I don't think I actually need to disconnect those because this is the part I want to get to. So yeah, and as you can see, that key, that B flat key there, has actually got stuck again. I can't actually press it down. Like these ones here, they're actually going down. This one here, it's jammed, and I sort of have to jiggle it just to get it working again. See, it's come right again. So I don't know what's going on there. So somehow I need to actually lift that key up and investigate what's going on. Now I think, well, let's just see how we go here. I'm not quite sure how these are attached, whether we're going to have to start from one end and actually work our way all the way along, or whether I can start from the middle here. I'm assuming actually I'm probably going to have to take this, actually take this whole unit out actually. I'm not sure if I can do it while it's still in the case. Well, I've been messing with this for quite a while and I still haven't figured out how to get to these keys, but I think we are going to have to take this whole keyboard mechanism out from the case. So I see there's some screws here. Looks like there's about 4 or 5 screws at the back. So I'll just unscrew those and see if we can just lift the whole keyboard out from the case and see if that makes a difference. That one's gone somewhere. I managed to drop it, but that's why having this magnetized head's good, because you can just pick up the screw if you drop it somewhere. Makes it a lot easier. I think there is one more screw here. It's just got you probably can't see it on the camera, but there's a strap just holding one of these cables in place here. Yeah, it looks like that has to come out as well. So it's just a screw that's going through a strap here, which is just securing one of these cables. Obviously it's just there so the cable doesn't get pulled or yanked by mistake. Okay, so I think we should be able to, yep, that looks like it'll come out. Yeah, there we go. It was just a little bit of tape there, I think, just holding it down. That was what was sticking there. There's a little bit of tape across the back there. Okay, so I'm just going to lift this out, and it looks like, yep, that'll come out okay. I've just got to be careful because this ribbon cable is still connected. I probably should take it out really, but I'm just reluctant to mess with that because it's quite delicate. So I'll just see if I can get away with doing it this way. Okay. Now I've got a little bit of an issue here because there's a cable here going from the main board to the actual base of the unit. It doesn't look like it's going to be too hard to remove. So yeah, there's just this grey and black pair of wires which are just being held on these clips here on the main board. And I'm just going to unplug it. Okay, so I can pull this unplug that cable now. Yeah, that's come out all right. Just got to remember to plug that back in. So now I can take this base unit out of the way and see what we've got here. Okay. Right, so obviously we can now see I've got to be careful of this ribbon cable too. This one here, it hasn't got a lot of length on it. So I won't turn it right over, but you can see the hammers there, the actual mechanism of the keyboard. It's quite intricate actually. It's quite amazing when you look inside one of these and just see how it all goes. I'll sort of tip it over a little bit just so you can see there. But yeah, that's the underside of the keyboard, but I'll just put it back over the other way and see if this makes a difference. Okay. So yeah, this keyboard key here, this B flat. Well, if I just turn it over again, I'll just have a look what's going on. Yeah, it's something about this that particular hammer there is getting jammed. And I can't at this stage see why that's happening. So these other ones are freely moving up and down, but this particular one here it's not. Yeah, it's jammed there, and there's no obvious reason why that is. But the actual key itself is definitely, the actual plastic part of the key there, it's definitely loose. So I'm sure there must be something that's broken off or not quite right. So, well, as I say, once again, I'm going to have to spend some time and see if I can figure out how to get under this key. Well, folks, after a bit of fiddling, I finally figured out how to get these keys out. You've actually got to pinch the back of the key and lift it back. I was actually trying to lift up the key and pull it out that way, but obviously it's hooked under the base here. The actual key's hooked under there, so you can't just lift it up. So the trick is to actually pinch the back here, squeeze those together so you can lift it. And I think just using a pair of long nose pliers like this. Now I'm going to take the white keys out in order to get to the black key. This is the one that I need to try and figure out what's going on. So I'll just squeeze the back of this B key, and then just, yeah. And as you can see, it's just popped out. Now, just out of curiosity, you can actually see this key is a combination of spruce wood here and resin, so it's quite nice what they've done with this by adding the spruce to the keyboard, the key here. It actually gives it that more sort of, it's just got a nicer feel to it when you're playing it. Just gives it a more natural feel, and actually gives it a more natural look as well. So that's quite a nice touch that Casio have done with their keyboards on the PX, or the new PX range that they released recently. So I guess getting it back in shouldn't be too hard. Perhaps I'll just do that just so I can, yeah. So it just clips in again, which is great. All right, so there we go. That's that one out. So we'll just take the other one next to it out as well. That's pretty easy once you know how to do it. Okay, so I've taken the two white keys out. Now we can see what's going on here. Now it doesn't look like the actual key's broken. I think it's just somehow it's not, the actual hammer, the metal hammer isn't staying seated in the key properly for some reason. Because I notice that whenever I tip the keyboard up like this, that's when it gets jammed. See, I'm trying to press that B flat key now, and having tipped the keyboard up, it's now, I can't press it down. It's jammed for some reason. I don't know why. If I give it a jiggle, it seems to come right. So obviously we're going to have to lift this out and see what's going on. So squeeze that one as well. Unless this one's a bit trickier. Oh no, that's all right. Okay. I'm just wondering whether something's broken here. It looks like it could be. Yeah, I think we've got, well, it's either broken or it's just come out, but there's two parts to this black key. I might have to take another one of the other ones out just to see how this all works, because I'm sort of just figuring this out as I go, but okay, well, either that's come off the actual hammer itself and that's why it keeps getting jammed, or it's detached from some other part of this key that I'm holding. But let's just pop that to one side and just have a look at one of the other keys, one of the other black keys. But as I say, to get to that, I have to take out the white key on the other side, I think. It just obviously makes it easier. So, oh, there we go. Okay, so that piece there is still attached. So either it's come loose from this other one, or it's literally broken off. So let's see. So this little black piece here, which must be what holds the key in place as you push it down. Yeah, so that obviously just fits into this groove and allows the key to slide down and move the hammer. So I guess let's see what's okay. Well, let's check this one out. This is the one that seems to have come off. So it should... See, that's where it should sit. It should actually sit on there. Now, what actually holds it on there? That's what I need to figure out. Oh, actually, wrong key. What am I doing? Ah, it's this one here. Okay. Well, it's right there in front of me, folks. Yeah. Okay, I can see what's happened. Yeah. There's actually a... I'll just use my pliers here. I might use a screwdriver. There's just a plastic lip here that pops, that sticks out, which actually holds this black piece in place, and that's cracked. So I think that's what's happened. I think somehow something's landed on top of the keyboard, probably when I put it in the car or something, and it's hit the key and it's broken this plastic bit off. And now this isn't sitting there anymore, and consequently it keeps rattling around and getting stuck. So what I've got to do, and yeah, we'll see, there it is there. I mean, so I think what needs to happen is somehow I either need to glue that back onto here, because it's actually this piece, this white piece here, which has actually come attached. So I think it's probably just going to be a case of gluing it back on. I mean, that's really the answer, isn't it? I'm going to have to get some super glue and glue that back into place there, and then yeah, we should be able to just put the key back on. So I don't think it's going to be a problem. So that's going to be my job now, is to go and get some super glue, because I haven't got any on me at the moment, so I better go and purchase some of that and get this thing glued, and then once it's dry, hopefully we can put this together and we should be up and running again. I just noticed here, actually looking at the keyboard, by the way, it's actually got quite dirty inside. There's a lot of dust and build up in here, and that's not good for the keyboard. If you've seen some of my other repair videos, I've actually had to do a lot of cleaning up of my other keyboards that have got filled with dust and bits of dirt, because it interferes with the actual circuit board. So if you get too much dust accumulating under these rubber pads, it can actually short out the keys, or it can stop them working altogether. That hasn't happened to me yet with this one, but perhaps while I've got it apart, I might actually just go through the process of cleaning up all these keys with a vacuum cleaner, just suck up all the dirt. So I'll probably have to lift each one up and do that, but I think it's probably worth doing while it's apart anyway. Okay, well, I'm back again. I've just picked up some super glue from the local market, so I'm going to use that to repair this broken bit of plastic. I've actually given it a wipe down because there's quite a bit of grease in here, and so I've just cleaned off the grease from the two parts that I need to stick together. So I've given that a bit of a wipe with a paper towel, and I'm just going to unpack this glue and get this thing stuck. And that should be it. Hopefully they will fix it, and all going well, I'll be able to put it back together. I guess this will take maybe an hour or two to dry properly. So anyway, this is a gel glue rather than a liquid glue. I just thought it might be less messy, so I'm just going to apply some of that to both sides, and we'll see how we go. I might just do this bit first. This is more a non-drip type glue, which is a bit tidier. I suppose doing this means I save a bit of money rather than taking it back to the importer, or the place where I actually got the keyboard, rather than paying someone to repair it. I'm saving myself a good bit of money, I think, doing it myself. Hopefully doing it properly, but I think this will do the job. Okay, now I might have to just hold it there for a moment, just so the glue takes. Yeah, it looks about right. So I'm just going to leave that there, and just going to let that dry for a bit. Probably while I'm waiting for that to dry, as I said, I might just do a bit of cleaning up, take some of these keys off and just vacuum up some of all this, quite a bit of this dust and everything under here. So I'll do that, and then I'll come back once I've done that, and we can try this out, put it back together, give it a go, and we should be all up and running. Welcome back again, folks. I've got the first bank of keys off. Basically, basically taken the keys off all the way up to the B key, which is the one I've fixed up there. So I've done that first, and I've just laid them out here, all the individual keys. Okay, so they're just sitting there in order. It's actually not too bad because Casio have done something good here, and they've actually marked each key with a number and a letter so you can easily see which one it is. So for instance, the first one here is, I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but it's labeled A1, and they're actually in banks anyway of like A to G. So once you do the first bank, then you can do the second bank of A to G, and it's pretty hard really to make any mistakes. And it's the same with, well, similar with the black keys, except they're actually just in banks of 5. They seem to be labeled 1 through to 5, which is, I mean, they're pretty much the same key across all the different banks anyway, so you can't really get those mixed up. It's really the white keys that you're more concerned with, obviously getting in the right place. But as you can see, it's quite dusty in there, so I'm definitely going to give that a good clean, because there's lots of dirt that's built up over the past couple of years. I don't think I'll clean up under the rubber pads because everything's working anyway. All the notes are working fine, so there's probably no need to pull that up and actually clean under there. I'd rather not actually mess with that if I don't have to. Just to prove that it's still working though, what I'll do is I'll just turn it on, because I've still got it plugged in here. So I'm just going to power it up. I'll just see the screen under there actually. Yep, it's come on there. So just to make sure everything's working, if I just obviously press these pads here. Okay, so obviously they're all going, which is good. So just wanted to make sure everything was working fine before I started getting too much further with this. Okay, so I'll give that a clean now. What I'm going to use a vacuum cleaner. So I'll set up the camera up actually, but I've got a brush here. So I'm just going to basically just brush or gather up all the dirt. And I'll just suck it up with a vacuum cleaner. Once I've done that, I'll just do another quick video and just see what it looks like as a comparison. So I'll just pause this here. And gave it a bit of a clean at the front as well. Got rid of a whole lot of dust that had accumulated sort of along the front of the key bed there as well. So that's looking a lot better now. This is the key, by the way, that I actually, the bit of plastic which I actually glued, and it seems to be holding pretty firm there. It looks like it's stuck down quite well, so I'll be able to put that back together very soon. What I'll do is I'll just take off the rest of these keys, do a bit of a clean up under the keyboard there, and once I've done that, I'll put it all back together and then we'll give it another go, and everything should be working fine. So just a bit of a tip here: when you put these keys back on, the trick is to do the black ones first. Well, you kind of have to, because the only way to get the black keys on is to do them and then do the white keys. So basically what you got to do is, I'm trying to do this one-handed, so it's a little bit tricky, but you just got to hook the black key on there, and it just hooks on the metal weight, and it just sits in there. There we go. Okay, so that note is working. So now that I've done that one, then I can put the white one on. Okay, which is the bottom A. Okay, on the keyboard. That one there, I think we can just, as you can probably see, it just hooks there, hooks underneath. So just push it on there. Okay, and push down like that. There we go. Right, so the first two are back in place. So getting them on is pretty straightforward. So I'll just work through and do the rest, and once that's all done, once that's all done, then I'll come back and we'll get it all put back together. So I've just put the black keys on that section of the keyboard, and then I'll follow on with the white keys in between. And this is the one that was faulty. This is the B flat that was rattling and getting stuck. But it's now fine. It's not getting stuck. It's not rattling because I managed to glue that plastic bit underneath back on. So it's just moving up and down along on that shaft. It's moving up and down freely now, and not getting stuck like it was before. So that's a good sign. Right, so I've finished cleaning all the keys. I've put everything back together, and looks like everything's working all right. That's the B flat key that was faulty, so that's all fine now, and no, everything looks fine. So I've just got to put it all back together. Just a quick note, I noticed, had another look at this bass part of the keyboard here, and yeah, that cable there which connects to the main board there, that's obviously for the batteries. So because you can see here, this keyboard can actually work off 8 AA batteries, which is really handy, and so that cable there is just what allows it to power the main board there. So I've just got to get it all back together, screw it all together, and then it'll be ready to play again. And I don't think we should have any more problems. The idea is obviously just don't drop anything on the keys. So that's probably the best thing to avoid if you want to prevent the broken key like I had. Okay, well here we are folks, the keyboard's back together. I've given it a clean on the outside, polished it up there with a cloth, and obviously the inside as well, so it's sort of much back to almost new now. And the faulty key, which was this B flat, is now working fine, so no rattle, it's not getting stuck. So we can go back to playing as normal. So that's great, so everything's good, and that's back to being able to play live music on again, so I'm pretty happy about that. If you've got any comments or any other thoughts or questions or anything, feel free to post those below the video, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next one. So have a great day everybody, and we'll catch you next time. Bye for now.